Chapter 5. The River of Seekers. During your fight with Nithrax and Midas, reality fell out around you, and now you and your party find yourselves on an unfamiliar shore. Both beings of every race, origin, move through the water like ghosts, their eyes fixed on a glowing river at your feet. Wallace tilts his head curiously at the water, but you sweep him up in your arms before he can get close. Not sure that's a great idea, buddy. This is the river where, from my vision, we need to be careful. Mom? Mal rushes towards a woman with brown hair streaked with gray. She stands in the river, submerged up to her knees. Her eyes linger on the water, but as he continues to call her name, she looks up as if from a dream. Mal? Mal! It's me. Mal, wait. I should check and see if it's a trick. This could be a trap, some kind of illusion meant to lure us in. You focus your energy and examine the woman, searching for the rippling energy you feel when you create your own images. So what's the verdict? I can't sense anything, Mal, but I'm still pretty new at this. I need it to be her, kid. I'm trying to be honest, and I need it to be her. Then go to her. The rest of us will keep an eye on things. The woman rushes to the river's edge and beckons Mal into her arms, and he beams as she brushes non-existent dirt from his cheek, tears falling from her eyes. My little boy, my magpie, my heart. You approach slowly, not wanting to intrude, but then Mal turns to face you, face bright. Nia, Tyrrell, and Tora Valix, Aaron, this is my mother, Maria. And Mom, this is my... You can see him struggling, the realization of trying to encompass everything you are to each other in a single word. Your Rain. She hugs you so tight you can barely breathe, her embrace warm and solid. Thank you for keeping him safe. All of you. I certainly haven't made it easy. It's only because you're always trying to keep the rest of us safe. Oh, and this is Wallace. Look at you, you precious thing, Mal. You finally found an animal who likes you. Doesn't keep him from pecking at my toes every chance he gets. She ruffles Wallace's feathers. Just the way of him showing he likes you, isn't it, Wallace? How do we know it's really you? Kit, she's just looking out for you, Mal. I'm not sure how I can prove it. Perhaps you could ask her something only she would know, Mal. What were you always scolding Rin for, doing when she was little? Drawing on the walls. The two of you were always getting into trouble. Seems you still are. So, it's the end, or it's like the end said. You'll be able to watch Mal this whole time? Is this End a friend of yours? I lost track of you when you died. I was so worried, Mally. Mally? Oh, we're using that. Careful there, Emmy. You two can play this game. But, how much do you watch, Ma? I've seen a few things, but I try to give you your privacy. Maria, do you happen to know where we are? We kind of got shunted here accidentally. This is the River of Seekers. It is a place for those whose beliefs in the afterlife were uncertain. Here, people can take their time to decide where they'd like to spend eternity. That's practical. It's nice to have as much time to think about it as you need to, given what a monumental decision it is. At least some part of this place is logical. I'm not sure I'd go for that. How do people here decide where to go? You must have some sort of guidance. We examine the past, present. We sort lives in the river and those of the living sky. You look down, suddenly realizing how eerily still the water is, like glass. I can't see anything. You have to touch the water. Stand in it. Mal looks down at his feet, the toes of his boots in the wet sand, and abruptly takes 3 steps away from the river. The water laps at your own boots. It's barely there. You can feel something very powerful tugging at you, calling to you. Step into the river. You take a deep breath and step into the shallows, and as the ripples settle, images flash across the surface. It's beautiful. You see all of your friends, the ones that are here, as well as Cade and Chirta, Willow, Thrap, Lula. Wow. You see the celebrations in Y Tower, of Alex's party, the Friends of Riverbend. Every wonderful, safe thing that's ever happened. No fear, no pain, no regret. You can just stop, look, forever. Kid. You feel a protective hand settle against the small of your bag. You blink, feeling your feet on the dry sand. Yeah. I don't think I should do that again. It's all right. There are less intense ways to share memories. Ones that are far more sociable. Ren already told me some stories about Mal, but I bet yours are so much better. I mean, more embarrassing. You were such a cute child. Is it any wonder I want everyone else to know it? I'm generally against personal sharing, in nearly all forms, but even as he avoids stepping into the water, Mal can't stop holding Maria, like he's worried she's going to float away. Maybe I can make an exception this once, as long as I'm not the only one sharing. Tell us everything. You and your party follow her into a small inlet surrounded by colorful, otherworldly trees. Now, where should I start? Mal. When he was causing trouble or being cute? That's a tough one. Tyrell and Aaron almost speak in unison. Trouble. Trouble. Well, I vote cute. I would also like to hear about when he was cute. Don't I get a vote? No. Nope. That's Wallace's voting for cute as well. Well, it doesn't matter. This is not a democracy, it's a, rainocracy. Careful, Mal, that's gonna start going to her head. Why not both? Let's see. He was always good at talking his way out of trouble. What happened since then? Ha ha ha. Very funny, elf boy. It was the puppy dog eyes. He gets them from his father. What sort of things did he have to talk his way out of? But there was one time he was stealing eggs from the market. Sob story he gave. The purveyor was so good she gave him a chicken. Ah, RNA. She was a good chicken. I even brought her to the orphanage and the guild. You named a chicken after my mother? I didn't know you yet, Princeling, otherwise I'd have named her after you. What about this thing with animals? Did he always think they hated him? Mal groans. Mal was fond of the stray cats in the nooks and crannies. They were not so fond of him. Oh. You make it sound like I tried to pet every single one of them when I definitely did not. He shivers. One scratch was enough. Overdramatic as ever. I think his pride took the biggest hit. How much pride could a 5-year-old have? Have you met Mal? I want to know why you call him Magpie, why you named him Mal. If he always called himself Mal the Magnificent, Magpie. When Ren was first born, Mal loved her so much that he asked if he could change his to Robin or Jay or some other bird. I suggested Magpie since he loved to collect things and it was close to his current name. I never ended up picking a new name. I couldn't decide between all the options. But Magpie stuck. Mal the Magpie. How sweet. Is that a typical childhood? It sounds rather pleasing. I'm not sure there is a typical childhood, but I'm sure everyone gets up to hijinks of some kinds. Let's omit the sad story, shall we? Don't want it to become a competition. Given everything we've been through in the last day, no, I don't. I want to hear from... we already know Nia's. I'm going to be honest with you. As you know, I did not have a childhood. I was created fully formed from chaos, bent by my mother's will. All the hijinks I have gotten up to since meeting you. I met a story from around the time you first came into being. I forged my own glaive in the fires of heart of Mount Evelina. I was assailed by lava beasts for 3 days while I worked, but they could not stop me. That sounds kind of like the arts and crafts we got to do in the temple on days off. Somehow I don't think your arts and crafts were quite as life-threatening, Nia. Oh, we can hear from them all. Okay. Aaron, you're up next. I know I'm the one who instituted the no sad stories rule, but I'm not sure I have any that aren't. Come on, Aaron. Maybe something in the Royal Archives? You love the Royal Archives. Now, there was one summer I created all the concoctions detailed in Basic Alchemy Volume 1. It was quite enjoyable. Nerd! It was even more enjoyable when my brother exploded acid all over his favorite cloak when he tried to ruin my work. Now that's what I'm talking about. How old were you when this happened? 11, I believe. We already know Nia's. That's one of the reasons why I was like, but sure, let's see. Oh, my childhood wasn't particularly interesting. It was lots of studying, training, and reading. Though I do remember the first time I ran and cast an orb of light, accidentally hit a tree in the courtyard and lit it on fire. I'm sure the tree deserved it. Of course it didn't. It took 3 different priests to put out the flames, but they were thankfully able to heal it enough that it survived. Did you get into trouble? I thought I was going to, but then Scholar Vosh told me it was a sign that I was deeply connected to the light. That was the first time I felt like I was a part of something bigger than myself, like I belonged. Alright, Mtura. I remember the first time I got to ride a shark. I was 8 or 9, maybe. I knew yours was going to be interesting. You can ride a shark and you're not telling us? Well, you're just now telling us? The Red Fushti clan raises their people to do it, but I was taught by an act of tribute to my mother. I'm not great at it. Takes a strong hand, giggity, and then I have to guide them, so I mostly just let the shark do what it wanted. And what did the shark want? To try and bite the other sharks. A magnificent beast indeed. Mtora, that sounds horrifying. Don't worry, Landrat. They were love nymphs most of the time. Tyrrell. Elven schooling is rigorous. It left little room to play. Ah, there has to be something else, boy. You're not that boring. I suppose Kaya got me into some trouble. She was fond of ditching classes and finding places we weren't allowed to go. We once found an unexplored cave deep in Undermount, where we spent hours practicing our magic. I take that back, what I said about you not being boring. Tyrrell shoots Mal a glare. One day we lingered long into the night and discovered it was actually a place where where Dinvilliers went to, you know. Oh no. We did not come back after that. We were all even weirder than I thought we were. This is part of the joy of being a child, to try new things, to explore the world. And it is never too late to nurture that part of yourself. Not all of us get that chance, unfortunately. Can't argue with that. She begins to step carefully through the water back the way you came, and the rest of your party falls in line. Mal, can I grab you for a second? Sure, kid. Once the others are out of earshot, you put a hand on his shoulder, giving a comforting squeeze. You doing okay? Surprisingly, yeah, I am. I always wondered what would it be like to talk to her when I was, you know, a whole person. And now I want to hear everything. I wish we could had more time, so you could. That's why I'm trying to treasure all of it. He takes a deep breath and flashes you a grin, bright and warm. But thank you, Rain. for trusting me. Mal, I would follow you anywhere. And not just because your butt looks great. Ha-ha! He laughs as he tugs you close to him and wraps his arms securely around you. It does look great, doesn't it? I love you. He nuzzles your neck as he repeats the words, his breath ghosting across your skin. I love you. Love you. I love you. You pause for a moment, cupping his cheek in your hand as you look into his deep brown eyes. Then you kiss him slowly, sweetly, as if you can stretch this moment into an infinity. Rain. You thread your fingers through his hair as he deepens the kiss, intoxicated by the taste of him needing even more of it. But as you try to step closer, the two of you nearly stumble into the river, and you break apart. Maybe we should, save this for another time? Yeah. He steals another quick kiss, and his eyes are sparkling and full of affection, and he takes your hand. I'll hold you to that. You and Mal rejoin Maria and the rest of your friends further down the shore. It was really nice to meet you, but I'm afraid we can't stay for much longer. Why not? The old gods are trying to take our bodies to return to life, and we've got to stop them. What? Why would they do that? Probably because we undid all their hard work with the barrier. But please, take some time with Mal. We can wait for that. Thanks, kid. You cross to the other side of the river to give Mal and Maria some space. So, is there anyone else we know who might be uncertain of their destination? Anyone we ought to keep an eye out for? My mother won't be here, I know that. We have seen a few orcs, though. I don't think they're unsure in the same way others are. I mean, we can feel the elements. We know they're there. It's about making peace with becoming a part of them. I wish I had that certainty. I don't think it's that different. I wish I had that certainty. I mean, it doesn't matter as much now that we're already dead, but to know what comes after dying, that would have taken a lot of the stress out of it. Do you really think none of them doubt the element's existence, even a little? Tora eyes the other orc in sight, an imitating tusked figure with emerald skin, and frowns, then shakes her head and turns back to you. What about you, Rain? Think we'll see your dad? He kept his faith, or lack thereof, close to his chest. Gade and I didn't even know who to talk to when we had to bury him. I'm sorry to hear that, Rain. It turned out nice, though lots of candles, flowers, vegetables. We even took cutting of his favorite crops and passed them around. What a wonderful tradition. It's like he's growing everywhere around you. I don't know enough about the Weilers or the Parnassuses to know if they'd show up here or in El Hollis. We Valorosos were a little exploitative of light worship. I suspect the other ruling nobles were more agnostic as a result. What does exploitative mean? Several Valorosos claim to be demigods. The divine Valorosos argue that a united Morella was the god's will. What about Ashen, Valak? I've seen a few people with horns, but you all look so different. I doubt a stop here is common for my people. We're committed to the shadow after death, so we expect there to be nothing after. Those in the temple who are committed to the light are cremated. Do you think something similar? Yes. Our dead are placed within the eye of a storm of chaos. As the storm moves, the body is devoured by the shadow. Lovely. But let us not beat around the subject. You're afraid we'll see my mother again. Well, that wasn't what... She would not have come here. She was always certain of her path. Even the end's strange tales of her corroborate this. I did not wish to see her again, but if I do, I will kill her just as I did before. Now that I can relate to. Don't you dare compare yourself to me. Wallace is frustrated. I beg your pardon? Wallace, that's enough. Albert harumphs, but turns away from Aaron. Then you take Valex's arm, pulling her aside with a gentle but insistent tug. Valix... Wow! Listen, that's... Listen, that's an option that is locked behind a barrier, and that is stupid to me. Tara and you should talk about your mothers, and that's locked behind a barrier. Oh. I'm just gonna go with, are you okay? I'm fine. He's the one who's not okay. To be fair, I don't think any of us are okay, which is why we've got to give each other some grace. Yes, you're right. I'm sorry. You're just hurting like the rest of us, Aaron included. You're probably only butting heads because you've been through similar stuff. You were both lied to by an authority figure, committed different crimes as a result. You both came back from that, though. Please tell me I have at least integrated into a group better than he has. I don't think that would take much. She chuckles, and as the two of you rejoin the group, you bump Aaron with your shoulder. Just so you know, you've used up your withering comments for the next hour. I wasn't aware there was a quota. I wonder if my parents are here somewhere, though I'm not sure I'd recognize them even if they were. The only other person I know who passed is Scholar Vosh, but he was the most devout man I know. He'll be in El Hellas. Kaya questioned everything, so there's a good chance she came here. But once she learned everything she could, she would have moved on. And as for my Kilma, she believed deeply in the light. She'd be devastated to learn about Nephora. That reminds me, Tyrrell. We met your ancestor in the catacombs under Undermound. How do you think that was possible? Perhaps she was like us, Rain, able to speak to the living from the afterlife. We know so little about all this. But there must be someone who can explain it. Maybe that's how it's supposed to be. It doesn't really matter. Maybe someone who can explain it. The voice that speaks through you seems to know quite a lot. Too bad they don't seem interested in sharing. That would be convenient, wouldn't it? To have everything revealed in a single monologue. Someone has to know something, Aaron. The Shadow Court was very good at appearing to know what they were doing, but nearly everything they knew was wrong. I lost over a decade of my life in thrall to a pretender. My point is, we cannot trust anything we learn, not unless we can confirm it ourselves. Well, look at that. At least this place has a sense of humor. We follow our gaze to the edge of the water, which laps at a stone tablet covered in writing. What did I just say? Information is information. Word tablets might leave things out, but there's always something to be learned from them. Something we can use. Exactly. What people believe to be true can be as important as the truth. Down here, it might actually be more important, given that people's beliefs seem to be what shapes everything. I'm personally always in favor of having more information. And less. Especially when we have so little to begin with. Read it. Nia makes a careful gesture, and the tablet rises from the silt and out of the water to your waiting hands. Let's see what we can learn about this place.
Him? I have to read now. Yes.
I want to read about the nature of the river. Nature of the river of the Seekers flow through every afterlife in the world below, making memory of the path that unites all beings. For that is what the river is made of, memories. Though the river runs serenely all the way to Hollis, the surface appears still to those who touch it, creating a natural-looking glass that offers visions of one's life. To stand in the river is to see yourself as you truly were, viewing past memories from outside yourself. Yet, as seekers leisurely peruse their memories, they find it difficult to explain to someone else what they see. This suggests that there may be an unseen alchemy at work, or some spell or curse, or perhaps we are too deeply ashamed of our own existence to share them with anyone other than ourselves. That was a good thought at the end there. Who ends up here? The River of Seekers calls to those who are uncertain or guilty. Guilt is quite easy to keen, but uncertainty comes in many forms, be it children of two cultures who must decide which path to take, or those who refuse to accept their own death. These reluctant spirits are not to be confused with the ghosts or wights of sometimes seen by the living. Those are more mere echoes of existence, left behind like broken footprints in the sand before the tide. Many notable souls have moved through this place, such as Katrina Vanu, the defender of Valeros dynasty, who repelled the Orcish fleets only to disappear among the shimmering isles. She dwelled in the river for nearly a lifetime, searching for assurances that all the bloodshed done in her name could be justified. But as many warriors find, it could not. Many elven veterans of the Great War lingered in the river as well, reliving their missteps like General Tehran of the House Starfury, who ordered the first retreat against the the Shadow Courthouse. Even one of the new gods, Alara, arrived at the river's edge after her heroic end on the field of Teleron. It is, she said, she claimed she was simply waiting for her love, but her husband, the new god Xavius, had already passed on. How to leave. The River of Seekers is not to be any soul's permanent end. One is expected to review the past and present, then decide the place they most feel they belong. Belong is a fascinating word here. Some decisions are conscious, while others, souls, suddenly find themselves elsewhere without wholly understanding how they got there. While this place may be a frightening prospect, dwelling within the River of Seekers for too long is also not advisable. But until the decision is reached, seekers are trapped within the water. They are unable to pull themselves onto the shore, and no matter how far they walk, there's no escape. Much like life and death, the river is cynical in nature. Seekers who follow the current will eventually find themselves back at the river's start. Some souls try this for days, weeks, years on end in desperate attempt to escape deciding. These are often the ones who find the decision being made for them. But still, others resist all forces of momentum, waiting patiently for loved ones who remain in the world above. The river's dangers. The longer a soul remains within the River of Seekers, the more of themselves they lose. I speak not only on the eerie calm that overtakes those who spend decades in this place. I speak, too, of the river itself, which offers memories, but also takes them bit by bit. Like water moving over stone, carving great canyons and caverns. But these losses are not beautiful in their emptiness, as those wonders are. They leave gaps, voids, wounds, removing vital details the soul might have used to make their decision. Some souls forget children, lovers, very devout friends, and once these gaps are discerned, if they are discerned, make a soul's indecision even greater, furthering a horrible cycle with a tragic end. There's a basic fact I wish I could carve in stone at the entrance to this place, enshrine in every book, speak in every ear. There is a cost to waiting. Those who do not move on from this place eventually fade into nothing, swallowed up by the river of glass. You look up from the Lord tablet, mouth agape. Mal's mother died when he was 6, right?
I believe so, though it's so hard to remember birthdays at that age when you're on your own.
Heart pounding, you sprint back the way you came, but the river stands between you and Mal and Maria.
Rain, what's wrong?
Mal, Maria, get out of the water. I have to leap over it. You call upon the magical around you, picking up speed as you approach the edge of the water. At the last moment, you leap and go soaring over it. I'm coming, Mal. You release the spell and skid to a stop as you reach the two of them. Maria, you need to get out of the river. It's making you forget things. What are you talking about, Rain? It shows me memories. It doesn't take them away. You've been here for 2 decades, right? Well, the longer you stay here, the more you lose. I don't like the river, Rain, but she seems to remember everything I've mentioned. Me, Ren, all the important stuff. As much as it pains me, I'm glad you both had lives after me. Grigor, too, for that matter. Mal freezes and then slowly turns to her. Mom, you're not talking about my dad, are you? Of course, he was my charming prince, and I was his lost princess. So why didn't we grow up in a castle then? I don't... He didn't want anything to do with us, remember? We sent Ren and me to his big fancy house to ask him for help when you were dying. He wouldn't even see us. He had his servants turn us away. Grigor would never do that. It was a complicated situation with his parents, yes, but he loved you both. I met him once, Mom, and he looked right through me. He wouldn't even meet Ren. He stood you up that day. He was supposed to. You cried for a week. She watches him, pain and confusion etched across her face as the rest of your friends catch up with you, still keeping their distance. I don't remember that. I wish I did, but I believe you, and I'm so sorry. I'm sorry he hurt you, and I'm sorry I didn't make it better. You were dying. It's the river, Mal. It takes people's past from them over time. It's why you're supposed to linger. Or not supposed to. She's been lingering here for years, probably waiting for him. Just like when I was a kid. You can see Mal struggling to compose himself, but before you can do anything to comfort him, your friendly guide pushes you into your mind. You must keep going. I'm getting real sick of your timing, whoever you are. You must sail the River of Seekers to the Orcish afterlife. But there isn't an Orcish afterlife. There is, and you must go there. Make haste, for you have seen the consequences of lingering here. The presence recedes as quickly as it came, and you groan as you rub your temples. As much as I hate to admit it, we do need to keep going. It's fine. My mom can come with us till El Hollis. I wish I could, Mal, but I need to wait for Ren, so we can all be together. That could be decades, Mom. Should be decades. I'm sure she'll find us when the time comes. I trusted the world to take care of you once, and the world failed. I can't leave anything to chance, not again. But if you're losing memories, you could forget her. You could forget Mal. Then at least I'll have tried. You can't do shit! Listen, you sitting here going, the world failed us once. Well, I'm just gonna sit here and watch as the world fails me, and I forget about you and everyone else. That's dumb. Come with us, Mom. Please. She places her hands on either side of Mal's face. My magpie if I do forget. I'll still be with you. I could forget everything I am and have been, but I would still love you. That's what being a mother means. Not if you forget you were a mother, dumbass. Yeah, I said it. I'm not gonna take no for an answer. If you won't come with us willingly, then we'll just have to make you. Rain, no! Nia gets between you and Maria, holding her arms out protectively. But if she stays here... This must be her choice, Rain. We cannot force her. I'm not happy about it either, Rain, but they're right. That is stupid! I can't. Oh. Maria wraps her arms around Mal, holding him close, and he clings to her tightly, a single tear streaking down his face. Goodbye, Mom. Goodbye, my heart. Devastated, he starts to climb aboard him to her ship, but Mal lingers on the bank contemplating the water. It feels familiar. Too familiar. Stop my visioning from happening. Is it worth it, Rain? After all, wouldn't it just be so easy to... Grab him by the shoulder, pulling him back away from the edge of the river, on a dry rock. No, it wouldn't be easier. Sure, you'd forget all the bad things that happened, the pain we faced. But you'd also lose the happiness, laughter, people important to you. You're right. I know you're right, it's just... Yeah, it's hard. Trying is always hard, especially when you don't know if you're going to succeed. But what's at stake? All those good things are worth fighting for. I must be getting predictable. Sounds like you had this whole speech prepared. I saw you asking me this in a vision in the future. I've had some time to put it together. His eyes are filled with sorrow, but he manages to crack a smile. Our lives are weird. If you guys don't mind, I'm going to have a discussion at the end of this video about this subject. Please consider tuning into that. Come here. You'll feel the tension ache in his body as he sinks into your arms. I'm sorry, Rain. He clings to you the same way he did to his mother, and you stroke over his back soothingly. There's no need to apologize. A shudder runs through him, and you squeeze him tighter. Thank you, Rain. Thank you. As you sail further down the river, it widens out. The crowd of seekers begins to thin, and Tora sighs heavily from her place at the helm. What the thing that borrows your voice said, does it make sense, Rain? We can't just go to the elements, they're everywhere. From what we've seen, it doesn't seem like any of these places directly contradict the belief system of those they serve. Tyrell's right. Maybe in the living world they're everywhere, but it's different in the afterlife. We will know soon enough. Wallace pats over to him Tora so he can paw at her boots and bump his head into her shins. She leans down to pet him. Thanks, Bear Feathers. Really? I think we should be more worried about how we get from one afterlife to another when last time... Stop the boat. What? But Aaron doesn't explain. Instead, he jumps over the side of the ship before anyone can stop him. Aaron, the water! He staggers onto the shore and keeps going, rushing to a figure he slowly recognizes. Imtura brings the ship into the shallows. Boulder, his brother. It's Boulder. Who? Aaron's awful, abusive brother. They killed him. Given his comments earlier today, I suspect he is about to do the same again. Are we all right with that? Am I okay with Aaron killing Boulder again? No. Boulder was awful, but that doesn't mean he deserved to die. Well, that, and wouldn't it, like, in a way, reaffirm Aaron what he did was right? At least all Aaron can do down here is take memories from him. I still prefer to get him back before it comes to that. Chase after him. Aaron, wait for me. You jump out of the boat and you rush to Aaron's side. He's already speaking to Boulder, but his brother doesn't acknowledge him at all. His eyes remain fixed on the water. He's forgotten me. That has to be it. Boulder. You lower your voice to the most commanding register, letting magic flood your tone. Look at me. You can feel his will struggling against yours until he finally turns, eyes blazing. Gods above, will you go away? I'm busy. Do you know who we are? Who I am? Of course I know who you are. You're my useless joke of a brother who had to cheat in order to kill me. But I don't care. I have better things to do. Like looking at yourself in the river? My life and all its glorious accomplishments and exploits. He looks back to the water, his eyes going glassy as he stares at the surface. Your exploits? You mean ignoring the needs of your people? You recall seasons of hardship in Riverbend, when the harvest was small, how no help came from the capital. And then there were all the needy on the streets of White Tower starving without anywhere to go. You could have done something to help those who were struggling instead of being a self-obsessed ass. But Boulder doesn't respond. You're not even sure he heard you. Aaron steps closer. You really don't care that I'm here? Boulder ignores him. I killed you, I humiliated you, and you've got nothing to say? Aaron balls his hands in a fist and turns away and marches inland. Give Boulder a small glance and then follow him. Aaron, are you okay? I know that can't have been easy, but after everything he did... You don't know the half of it. He pushes past you, but as he does, you feel a small invisible tug, like something is pulled from you. I'm getting supplies. But you gotta follow him. It's like he blinks out of existence and then reappears further away. Same way you do when you realm walk. Did Aaron just drain some of my abilities and use them for himself? Really? I'm going after him. By the way, this is elite skills, so this is your only chance. It isn't hard to track Aaron, not with that strange thread still pulling taut between you. Ooh, pretty cave. You find him pacing back and forth in a beautiful cave filled with some glowing water as the river. Aaron, you're not alone. How do you manage to make that sound like a threat? It's a promise. Whether you see it as a threat or as comfort is kind of up to you. Well, I suppose it isn't making anything worse. Good, because you're not getting rid of me that easily, Valeros. He winces. Sorry, bad time to bring up the name, huh? As good a time as any. I don't know why I'm surprised. I should have known Boulder wouldn't care. You wanted him to hurt the way he hurt you. He hurt you a lot. You thought killing him would inflict the same kind of pain back, but it doesn't work that way. Maybe I need to do it again for good measure. See, this is why I said no. I'm all for killing things that deserve it. I've done my fair share of it, trust me. But killing him didn't give you what you needed. You're too smart to go making the same mistakes over and over again. I suppose no amount of dismemberment will undo my decades of physical and emotional abuse. I don't know, how I feel about you focusing on dismemberment, but you're right. Besides, he's not the only one who hurt you. Your father did too. Let's not even begin to bring my father into this. He stops his pacing, pausing to look at the water, its eerie glow casting strange shadows on his face. Honestly, I'm tempted to just throw myself in the river, forget all the bad I went through and all the bad I did. That won't give you what you want either. You just fade away to nothing. Yes, Ryan. That would be at least partially be the point. How about this? You just give away and be giving them what they want. To hide you away, to forget you, to make you feel as insignificant as possible. Oh, one shouldn't underestimate my ability to exist on pure spite. Aaron. Start with spite, but end with love. I'm afraid I've got quite a bit more experience with the former than the latter. Which is exactly why you need to listen to me. Unless you prefer hiding out in a cave after a really terrible excuse for running away. I do specialize in those. Aaron. He looks at you as if gauging whether you're serious or not, and then he deflates, lifting or letting out a sigh. Fine. I shall try. Thank you. Now, why don't we talk about how you got to this cave so fast? What are you talking about? When you walked off earlier, I felt this little tug, like we were connected somehow. It's kind of like, kind of how I felt looking at the river, actually. But then you blinked out of existence and appeared further away, like you were realm walking. You must have been seeing things. Aaron, Down here, everyone can do magic, including you. Maybe you were so focused on getting away, you got past whatever's been blocking you. After all, magic is just as much of a mental game as an arcana one. But I've never heard of magic that steals other people's abilities. I have. Maybe it's an afterlife thing. We won't know until you do more of it. See if you can hasten yourself. Start by concentrating on me. But what if I hurt you? Good luck. You've done it before, we work it out. Ouch, but accurate. As you start to channel the energy around you, you feel another small tug, as if a tether is being dragged behind you. The magic is suddenly torn from your fingers, and you can see Aaron become a blur. Whoa. He stumbles out of it, bracing himself on the wall. Hells. That's disorienting. But you did it. I mean, I did, didn't I? Can you do it the reverse? I mean, take magic from me? Well, only one way to find out. Wouldn't, since you both are connected, wouldn't that just be natural and logical? The thread is still taut between you, and it's easy to reach out and yank it back in your direction. You feel invisible. Tether release as energy floods into you, and you zip across the cave in a burst of speed. Woohoo! Alright, Homer, calm down. Then you see Aaron drop to his knees with a groan, skin pale and breathing heavy. Aaron! You kneel down next to him and put your hands on his shoulders to keep him steady. Aaron, are you okay? He coughs, but then lets out a pained, wary laugh. I should have known you'd best me in the end, even at my own spell. Oh, you're ridiculous. You pull him up with both hands, dusting him off once he's upright. Don't scare me like that. I will try not to, much as I enjoy being fussed over. Sorry, though, about nearly knocking you out. Your company is worth every hardship, Rain. Tube, you head out of the cave and back towards the river to rejoin the rest of your party. Yay. The further you travel, the more the glow from the river fades, until you feel a lurch as the current begins to speed up, and Imtura shouts, I think we're about to go vertical, brace yourselves. Lodge my scythe into the deck. You summon your scythe and slam it into the wood of the deck, locking it in place as you hold tightly. Wallace tumbles across the deck, somersaulting, but Valak snatches him up in her arms before he can go over the side. Hold on! There's a brief moment of weightlessness as the sails grow full, then gravity kicks in, you tumble over the edge of a massive waterfall. Whee! Only to land entirely intact on a wide open sea. When did this become One Piece?
That wasn't as bad as I expected. A lot nicer than the last time.
Well, we all appear to be in one piece, ship included. So, this is the Orcish afterlife? That doesn't make sense. There are no landmarks, no wind, there's nothing. Then, how are we supposed to get out of here? I don't know. Alright, so before I begin the talk, which is a serious talk, by the way, probably one of the most serious ones we've had here in a while, please remember that if you did enjoy the content, to like, share, and subscribe. Also consider supporting via the pen thing down below or the subscribe plus. Aside from that, let's have our talk. So, Mal, right? Standing there and pretty much looking at the water, right? And like, wanting to kind of like give up, kind of like Aaron too, right? And I don't think you realize um, how much a lot of people are struggling. Not just men, but this year in June we already broke the record for most men who kind of gave up. If you get my meaning and my drift. And I know a lot of people don't like to talk about this, and I have to watch my language because, the people who control the place you're watching things right now don't like talking about this either, unless you're like big, big, big bucks and big content creators. The only way you can get away with it. And even then, sometimes they're limited. So, with that being said, in terms of Mal and wanting to give up, I've been on this planet a while, and I've had my fair share of struggles wanting to kind of give up myself. Because a lot of the people that do give up or do think about giving up think it's bringing you peace. And don't worry, it does, but I'm not getting to that. This is what I'm getting at. So I've been through a lot of challenges in my life that if I was to sit here and tell you them, I'm pretty sure I would break you. I'm pretty sure just by me telling you would break you. And that's the point. Life is not easy. God, would it be nice if it was easy, but it's not. And these challenges that we go through are things that are supposed to challenge our character, challenge who we are, make us hopefully into a better person. Though not all things lead us into being a better person. Sometimes we have to steady ourselves, or we can turn into a bad person, right? We as human beings are born with the ability to be good or bad. And our life experiences, not just parents, life experiences can turn the tide for us. For me, according to psychology, due to all the things I went through, I pretty much should not be here. Or if I'm still here, I pretty much should be on a lot of, we'll just say, medication, and I probably should have been put in a facility. But here I am talking to you, and I'm sure after doing 13 years on this channel, but 6 to 7 years, I believe, of Choices content, you can say, well, he sounds perfectly normal to me. Exactly. Because along that very dark journey in my life, that even today I struggle with, there were things along the way that not everyone gets, which are little moments in time, people, little specks of light that help us be better people, to make us realize that we're being tested and whatnot. And again, trust me, I've tried to give up a few times in my life. And like I said, even on every day I wake up is a struggle. But I go, you know what? I woke up, and there's people out there, such as yourselves, who are listening to this right now, that are counting on me. And I know it may sound stupid, but I sit here and I go, you know what? Someone somewhere said that they enjoy my content and it brings them happiness, and I don't know what they're going through in their life. And for a few people I do. And I know that I've really helped some people, and there's times where I've sat for hours on end and talked to some of you in private, and I've helped people not give up. And I'm proud of that. So I know by every single day that I hang on. I hang on for you. I hang on to maybe help someone that I might not even know. They may stumble upon this channel tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, or long after I'm gone. But I may make a difference in that person's life to keep them going. So, I'm just going to say this for all my guys out there. I know not a lot of people who are guys watch my channel, because a lot more girls are into visual novels than guys, but hang in there, man. Every single one of you, regardless of what you identify as. But to my guys out there who are really struggling this year, like I said, we've In June, we beat any record in the past. And that record's still climbing every single minute. There's a guy giving up. We're in the millions right now of a lot of guys who just aren't here anymore because they keep giving up. So, if you ever need to talk, anyone, I don't care. If you ever need to talk, I'm here for you. Reach out to me. Otherwise, thank you all for watching. Thank you for listening. And I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace out.